Welcome back, Mindsetters. I hope you had a nice little break. You guys went and did whatever you had to do, went to the bathroom, went got water, went got a snack, whatever you needed. You guys need to now sit down and pay attention. Guys, make sure you have your pens, pads, and notepads out and making notes because it's very important. So, Haley, take it away.
Thanks, Ty. Before I carry on, the question that we just did before the break is very similar to your challenge question. So I'm going to pose the question again to get your minds thinking, and after the next ad break, we will come and we'll do the answer. So, Stefan's mother has a new cell phone number. He needs to call her, but can't remember the last 2 digits. We want to know how many possible ways are there to complete the number, and then we want to know what is the probability of Stefan guessing the correct number. So work it out, and work it out for me as a percentage. Give me the answers on Facebook, and we'd like to look at them, and we'll do it after the break. So let's carry on with our next question. Right, question 3 says, records for a local library show for each book, whether it is a fiction, non-fiction, or classic category, and whether it is a hardback or softback version. So we've got quite a bit of information here. We know whether it's fiction, non-fiction, or classics. We know whether it's hardback or softback. When the library closed on Wednesday last week, 2,700 books were out on loan. It's quite a busy library. I wonder if that's a busy library.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I'd love for that to happen more often here.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm not sure with Kindle today and
Yes, you can just get digital
iPads
books
and all these things where the people actually... I might get into trouble for saying that.
Well, there's all of those kinds of products. And
Let's carry on reading. So, of the books on loan, 72% were in the fiction category. Of the 620 hardback books on loan, 55% were the non-fiction category and 25% in the classic category. In total, 176 classic books were on loan. Right now, I know what you guys are thinking. Lots of numbers, lots of percentages, I'm lost. I'm sure that's what most kids are actually saying. Lots of things.
Starts getting
Guys,
confusing.
what I want you to do is when you see something like this, when you get a whole lot of numbers together and you start panicking because you don't understand it, break it down. Take one section at a time. So I've read a lot of numbers and there were lots of percentages, but if I break it down, I will be able to conquer the whole question. So I'm going to read the question first. It says, complete the table below, entering the number of books on loan in each case. So what are the table? What's it looking for? Our table's looking for hardback, and we need to have fiction, non-fiction, classics, and a total. We need softbacks, fiction, non-fiction, classics, and we need our totals. So now let's go back to the text and start reading the numbers. Let's find some space here and see how many calculations we can do. So, right. Of the books on loan, 72% were in the fiction category. So let's work that out. And we're going to find some space. I'm going to go to the bottom. We've got 2,700 books that were out on loan. And we know that 72% of them were fiction. So that's not such a hard calculation. Let's get our calculator out, and remember this is a nice little revision of percentage. We take our number, 2,700, and we times by 72%. Double check that your calculator's got the correct numbers, that you're not making a mistake, and we press equals, and we get 1,944. So we've got 1,944 fiction books. So I think I can put that into my total of fiction. So 1944. Right, now quite clearly I can work out my non-fiction because I've got my total and they've already completed for me the classics. Oh, but let's go back to the text, see what the next part of the question is. So we've done this. Of the 620 hardback books on loan, 55% were in the non-fiction category. So let's work that out. 620 and we've got 55%. Let's change our color. Right, 620 books and we need 55%. So get our calculator out. 620 times by 55%, and we get 341 books. Now, while doing that calculation, I forgot what we were calculating. So of the 620 hardback books, non-fiction. So we know that 344 books, hardbacks, are non-fiction. Right, and we've completed that. Let's go back and check the rest. 25% were in the classic category. So now we're going to take the same number, 620, and work out how many were classics. So we're going to take our 620 times that by 25% to get our classic books. Get our calculator out. 620 times by 25%, and we get 155 books. So we got 155 books that are the classic. And now quite clearly I can work out what the fiction is because I've got all the others. Let's carry on reading. We'll do all those calculations at the end. In total, 176 classic books were unknown. And we've already got that in our calculator. So complete the table, entering the numbers of books unknown in each case. So now let's work out what we are missing. So we're missing our hardback fiction. We're going to take our total and minus those two amounts. So let's get our calculator out. We're going to take our total of 620. We're going to minus the non-fiction. And we're going to minus the classics. And we're going to see that's 121. So we type that in here. Now we know the total. Let's work out our total of non-fiction. Again, we're going to minus the 2. So we're going to take 2,700. Our calculator. 2700 minus, I think they might need your help there, 176 and 1944. 176 and 1944. And we get 580. So where do we type in our 580? We've got 580 books that were non-fiction in total. Now I can work out all my soft books because I've got minus the 2. So fiction, I'm going to take 1944 minus 121. And I'm going to do that for each one of the categories. So let's quickly do that. 1944 minus 121. 1944 minus 121. 1823. 580 minus 344. These are the ones I'm going to have to need you to remember. 236. 176 minus 155. Do we need a calculator for that? Well, let's do it anyway. Is 21. And finally, 27 minus 620. And we can actually check is 2080. We can actually check if we are correct by adding these all up. I should get 2080. So it kind of like gives us a little bit of a check. So should we just do that quickly and add those? Let's check that we are correct. Say if I add 1823 plus 236 plus 21, I should get 2080. Yay, we are correct. Now we've completed it. So we've taken all these huge numbers and lots of percentages, and we have managed to complete the table with kind of not really any problems. It was just percentage. Let's see what the next part of the question is that they ask. Right, we're going to have to copy that to the next page. Have we got all the numbers down? I'm waiting for Tar. Tar's just going to copy the numbers down for me quickly so that he can give me the numbers again, because
No
we
problem.
don't have them for the next page. So while we're busy doing that, let's just look at our table. We can clearly see that softback, the most popular is fiction. In our hardback, the most popular is non-fiction. And our classics, well, there's way more hardback than softback. And it gives you some indication of what kind of books you would get in a library. So you can see that the majority of people actually enjoy reading. When they enjoy reading fiction, they enjoy reading softback books. I think it's easier to hold. What do you say, Tar? It's
So
easier
too.
to hold.
Nice, easy, fold it up, roll it up.
Absolutely. Okay. And the hardback, you probably have way more classics in hardback, because I don't know if they make the classics in softback, or maybe there are not that many available. Have we got all the numbers? Should I go to the
Yes.
next page? Okay. Let's go to the next page. Let's quickly add these numbers in. So fiction hardback was
121.
121.
The next one was 1824.
Is that this one?
Yes,
1824.
softback. And then 1944.
1944. Okay. Our non-fiction, let's change color. Non-fiction we
And we're
had
looking at 344.
344. Glad I've got Tar here.
236,
236.
580.
580.
And classics,
Classics. Let's get another color.
we're looking at 155,
155.
21,
21.
and then
And our
176.
total here was. What was that total here?
Our total there was 2080.
2080. Perfect. Now we've got all our numbers. Let's go and answer the questions. So, a library record for a book unknown is chosen at random. Use the table to calculate the probability expressed as a percentage that the book is non-fiction and softback. So we need to find our non-fiction, which is and a softback. Non-fiction, softback, we are looking at this number here. So if I choose one at random, I'm looking at those 236. So that is my favorable outcome. That is non-fiction and softback is 236. Out of my total possible outcomes was the total number of books that are out. So it's 2700. And they want this as a percentage. So what do we do with our fraction? We multiply by 100. So let's get a calculator out. 236 divided by 2,700 times by 100, and we get our answer of 8.74%. So 8.74%. Remember to round to 2 decimal places. They didn't ask us for give us any other instructions, so 2 decimal places it is. Now we want either non-fiction or a hardback version. So we want either non-fiction or a hardback. So non-fiction, we're looking at 580. We're looking at our total. They told us just non-fiction. So 580. So let's work that out. 580. And we wanted hardback version. Hardback is total of 620. So those are my 2 numbers that I'm dealing with. So 580 is my non-fiction or hardback. So I'm going to work out the probability of either of them. So let's work that out as a total of my 2700. Both of them out of a total. And I want the one or the other, so I'm going to add them, because I can have non-fiction or hardback. So let's do that on our calculator, and then we're going to get that answer to that and multiply by 100. So I'm going to say 580 divided by 2700, get an answer. Then I'm going to add the 620 divided by 2700. In fact, I've got 4 out of 9, and I'm going to times by 100. Another way we could have done it is 44%. We could have actually added these first, so I'm going to come back to that. We could have said, well, it's 580 and 620. Got an answer to that. Divided that by 2,700. Still get our 4/9 times by 100. Check your calculators carefully. 44%. So in this case, we've got 44%. Don't forget, we times by 100. Fiction, given that it is a soft back version. So we want fiction that is soft back version. So fiction, and it needs to be soft back, is 1824. So here we've got 1824 divided by our total and times by 100. So on a calculator we can do that simply. 1824 divided by 27 times by 100, and it is 67.56%. Finally, how many of the first 200 books taken out on loan on the following day would you expect to be hardback classics? So we first need to work out the probability on the Wednesday that they were hardback classics, and then we can use that percentage to calculate how many books on the next day, because we would expect the percentages to be the same on the probability. So let's do that in 2 steps. First of all, I want to know how many were hardback classics. So my hardback classics was 155. So I'm going to work that out as 155 out of my 27 and work it out as a percentage. So my calculator out, divided by 2700 equals times by 100. So we're expecting 5.74%. 5.74%. Now we're looking at 200 books on the next day. Let's find a little bit more space here. So of the 200 books, I am expecting the same percentage to be hardback classic. So get the calculator. Now 200 times by 5.74%, and let's get a number. And I get a number of 11.48. So let's write that in. So I've got 11.48 books. But I can't have a 0.48 of a book. So what do? I have to round off. So I'm going to say that I'm expecting 11 books the following day to be
Wouldn't it be
that particular
12?
Well, it's an interesting statistic. We could say 12 because it is more than 11. So we could have rounded to 12. Tata's got a good point. But I tend to think that, like, if we've got less than half, maybe we should round down.
Okay.
So, and this is probably one of those questions where it's either or. So maybe it's a little bit more than 11 books. Maybe we should have rounded to 12. So maybe we'll go with Ta's answer's also right. 12 books. But either 11 or 12 books is really what we're expecting. I think we should take a little bit of a break now. I think I'm feeling a bit parched.
Okay, no problem. It's what you guys have to do now. Also, you can take a little bit of a break, but doesn't mean your brain switches off in that process. No. You guys make sure that you come back and pay attention. But we'll see you after this break.